Hey friend, Colin here from Sonic Scholar. Welcome to the next installment in our series, String Theory with C#. So just a reminder, I've got a cheat sheet here for you. Again, if you haven't grabbed that, click the link in the description. It's full of all of the string methods and regex complete back page. It's everything you'll ever need for learning everything to do with strings. The source code is also going to be included with that, so check the link in the description. And let's get started today where we're talking about string formatting. So let's switch over to the screen and check it out. In the previous demo, we saw that strings are immutable. This means that once you create a string, you can't change the contents of it. But we'll look at how to format strings in this one. So some advantages here is, strings, a common task in programming where we provide human readable outputs for logging or debugging. Well-formatted strings can improve the user experience of user interfaces. Sometimes we want to create data files with regular inputs and delimiters and things like that, all kinds of stuff. So to start off, we'll look at the most simple example of formatting a string, which is called concatenation. So in C#, we use the plus operator to concatenate strings. And here's typically what the syntax looks like, string 1, hello, string 2, hello world. And then we write S1 plus, and then we'll concatenate a space plus string 2. And we're just adding them all together. And the line didn't execute because I had actually selected in my console. If you ever get in this trap, hit the console window, hit escape to get out of select mode. Code will start executing. That's bitten me more than once. Anyway, as we print out S3, look, we have hello plus a space plus world. So that's it, concatenation. No super surprises there. But we had to add a space because the plus operator doesn't normally add spaces. It only does what you tell it to do. And you can use the plus operator to chunk as many strings together as you want. I don't care. All right, but next up, we'll look at the String.Format method. This is where things start to get pretty interesting. So what String.Format does is it takes the input string with some formatting options in the first parameter, and then every additional parameter are variables that are going to get kind of injected into that string format. So let's say we had some syntax like this, string S4 equals, and string format. Notice we've got these curly braces, right? Open curly brace 0, open curly brace 1. We've got a comma in there. And so what's going to happen is everything inside the curly braces are going to get replaced. So 0 is going to get replaced by the first parameter after the string, that's S1. And S2 will replace the curly brace with the 1. So here we've done our string format exactly like before. And we printed out, look, we've got hello, comma, space, world, exclamation. So kind of cool, right? That's really just an example of concatenation. We just use the string format instead, but it's just, another way to do that. So fancier example of concatenation, like I said, we can look at example here where we've got, S1 plus double quote, comma, space, double quote, right? It's just a little bit clunkier, maybe a little bit more verbose. Same thing. I don't know. I think the string format can be more readable, or at least more concise when you're writing the code. And just for proof, see, I printed it out. It's the same thing as before. So it's more powerful still. So let's look at a few more examples. So what if we have a number, but we only want to display a few decimal places in that number? Well, the string format method can help us with that as well. So let's print out a couple numbers. Here I've got pi, and then I only want to print out the first two decimals. So I got 0.00. Notice open curly brace, 0. Everything so far is the same as the previous example, but after this we have this colon. And when you have this colon, that's telling string format there's some extra special magic sauce that you want to provide. So 0.00 means one digit out to the left, and then 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. Put a new line character, again, pretty powerful. We'll do the E, the Euler number as well. Here, the curly brace with the 1 means go on to the next parameter. So as I hover over pi, of course, you can see it's tons of decimal places, and E has a ton of decimal places. But once we format that, we've got pi is 3.14 and E is out to 4 decimal places. So pretty cool, right? Number to the left is the index of the parameter to format. That's 0 and 1 respectively. And the number to the right of the colon is the format of the number. So moving on to the next one, what if instead of decimals, we wanted to use dates? Similar thing, we've got an open curly brace, 0, and a colon, and then everything to the right is a format. And in this case, it knows months, days, and years. And I can pass in, again, notice the same 0. I'm gonna pass in one variable to this string format. It's DateTime.now, but I'm using that variable to give me different formats in different places of the string. So that's a little bit of a tweak on the use that we did before. Print that out. Today is 2/20/2023, and the time is a little after 9 p.m. where I am at. So kind of cool that we can use the same placeholder twice. This is because string format will use that same parameter in each placeholder again because of the 0. Pretty neat. Some classes override the ToString method. ToString is on the object, and everything in C# inherits from the object. So, for example, DateTime overrides the ToString method, and you can get custom strings that represent a date and time. So let's look at that. We'll look at the current time again, and here we're just going to say today is, here's 0 and 1. So not as, we're not adding the format into the string like we did in the previous example, but what we are doing is taking this DateTime.now variable, and we're calling the ToString method with a custom overload. So you can format your dates this way as well, and not, directly related to the string format method, but since we did the date example, I just wanted to show you that as well. All right, now as cool as string format is, there's something even cooler, but for the longest time, string format was the only way to format strings. But ever since C#6, a few years old now, there's a new feature. I think it was inspired from Python, actually, is why the compiler devs brought this in, but it's called string interpolation. It's basically just a newer, better, more convenient way to format strings. We can look at an example, basically just using the same thing we did before. So here we've got 2 strings, and what's going on here is there's this $sign immediately preceding the double quote. That's telling the string that we want to allow string interpolation. And what that lets us do is put variables directly inside of the string. We get IntelliSense in there and everything. So this is pretty awesome. So we're going to say now is month, day, year, and the time is so on and so forth. And then we'll do our example with the numbers with pi and the specific decimal places. And as we print those out, again, you can see the same output. I think this is so much more concise, so much clearer to read. So if you're going to do string formatting, just default to using interpolation. It's awesome. You get IntelliSense. You don't have to, when so look at something like this, String.Format, and okay, what's 0? Well, now I got to go, to the first parameter to the right of the string, or okay, 1, okay, and now, okay, I have to go to the end of the string parameter, and then I got to skip 1, and then, right, you just, with string interpolation, you get your brain to take a much faster shortcut and understand what's being printed out. So $character is what's used for that. Again, you still use the colon in there for the formats, just like you would with string format. And that's it. All we were talking about today for the string format demos. Hope you enjoyed that. Hit the like, subscribe button if you find content like this helpful. Again, grab this cheat sheet. The link is in the description. All the source code that we just went through, we just flew through it today. That's in there as well. So feel free to grab that. And then I will look forward to seeing you in the next video in our string theory series. See you there.